Hello there and welcome to Travels with Geordie. If this is your first visit, my name is Peter Knowles and I live on this classic Ed Monk designed wooden motor cruiser here in Victoria, British Columbia, along with the loving memory of my pup Geordie, whom the boat is named after. All the while fixing it up for some pretty ambitious cruising, which I'm getting closer and closer to, at least the beginning of the ambitious cruising. Anyway, if that's the kind of thing that you might find interesting, please consider sticking around and subscribing. I'd love to have you. Well, and good morning. Can you believe 2 days ago it was like 40 degrees and dying out here? It's overcast and it's actually cool, which is perfect because today is paint day. In fact, I've already just got the boot stripe taped on the starboard side, and I think I've got it pretty straight, but you never know until it's afloat, right? So let me just tape up the port side and start rolling. So to solve the problem where I painted off the marker lines on the other side, I measured the height of the top of the boot stripe on the starboard side, 2 foot, 4 foot, and 6 feet from the bow, transferred them over to this side, transferred them back up with my new block, and I think I should be in pretty good shape. This block is slightly smaller, in other words, shallower, than the block I used to put the marks up from the original boot stripe, because I am raising the boot stripe slightly by about ½ inch, and because I want to see a little more bottom paint, because the boot stripe shouldn't really sit in the water. Okay, let's get some tape on. Couple of tiny little corrections. I think it's pretty close, but it's very hard to stand in the, anyway, it'll do. Second strip is so much simpler. Basically, I just overlap it with about 1/8 of an inch, and I have a pretty close to 3-inch boot stripe, just like that. Not often I have to stand on tippy toes. Okay. First, a little coverage to cover up the extra dark blackness. I'm actually using Petit Easy Epoxy, and I'm just rolling it with a very low nap. Don't use a tiny roller because they flick out too quick. Even when you move slowly, use a full-size roller, but not whatever width you like. That's just me. I find this does an awesome job. No requirement for tipping with a brush. Well, folks, I am really pleased. Quick paint job, and just rolling. See that sheen? I don't know if you can see it. I certainly can. I actually find that just rolling this paint is fabulous. There's no need to tip this paint. It's designed specifically to flow out. Now really it should have 2 coats, and it's going to. You'll have noticed I was a bit careless around the upper, what would you call that? Not the toe rail, but the bit that, anyway, cutting into my various pieces of wood trim. Because I'm going to go to some trouble to refinish all those, put a caulking bead in them all, and repaint them properly. In fact, I'll probably repaint the boat in the water this summer or this fall. But I'm so thrilled to have it relatively clean and relatively fair. All those big cracks closed up, a few tiny ones left, but we'll deal with those in time. Those are the engine mount lag bolt holes. Can't hurt. So this beautiful 1.5-inch mahogany is going to be ripped into strips for new build stringers, and to add a little stiffness up from the floors, as well as to create the structure for the new tanks. Bet you didn't know I own an old school corded circular saw for the big work. everyone. Once we get into production, after it's tacked in place, we'll be able to get a driver going on this. I'm loving this. Well, reality has caught up with me. I'm doing some work in the bilge here, fastening these new stringers, and it's warm and it's dry, and this bloody garboard is continuing to shrink. This is now a 3/4 inch gap. That started out as a 1/4 inch. Actually, I think it might have been almost tight. I'm tired second guessing, but now I've developed a big split up in here in the garboard. And outside, it's starting to sort of cup, and it's doing ugly things. All the other planks, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's like the garboard was made out of spruce or something. I'm not going back in the water anytime really soon. I think I have to source some yellow cedar. It's very hard to find. Especially in that width. I'll have to make it in multiple planks. And stick with this for a little longer. Cheers. Okay, so here's the prognosis. The garboard. If you look at it here, it is punky. It's punky. It's not a happy plank. I've been talking to Scott, who you all know, and I think it's possible that something has damaged this plank in the time it's been in the boat. Either electrolysis or a chemical from the engine, the oil or gas when the boat was a gas engine or something, because it's only the garboard and it's only directly under the engine that it's really knackered. But it's really knackered. So it's 9 inches wide and it's 22 feet long. So there's no chance I'm ever going to find that plank. And it's yellow cedar, Alaskan yellow cedar from 1953. There's no chance I'm ever going to find that piece of wood. It's a holiday here today. I've been calling mills all day hoping someone would be open, but there isn't. So then it's the weekend, but I've been talking to Scott, and Scott suggested I use sapele. Now he's replanked planks on his 60-foot yawl in sapele, and I know the wood. It's a lovely wood, very close. I mean, it's beautiful wood. It's also, well, it's very expensive, but it's half the price of yellow cedar. A quarter, even if you could get it. So here's what's neat about this. The garboard comes to a butt block, this one here, which I did not through bolt because it's in the aft cabin and it's not in a tremendously accessible place, but it is possible to get to. It's under the sole. So in other words, I can dig and get to this. So I will replace the plank from here moving forward, not all the way to the stem. But it means I can also replace this butt block once I get to it with a proper new through bolted butt block. Look how beautiful the plank is from here aft. It's absolutely fantastic, just like all the other planks in the boat. Okay, so I hope you don't get too dizzy. If we move forward past the rubbish, this is the new raw water intake for the engine, which means the bulkhead between the wheelhouse and the forecastle is right about here. And from here forward, the plank is also pretty good. So I'm going to put another butt block rather than having to replace the garboard all the way to the stem, which is a lot more complex. There's a lot of twist in it, and it's got some curve in it. It would be a difficult spiling and planking job. So I'm going to put another butt block up here. I'm not going to scarf it, because in time I will probably replace the forward section of this as well. And besides, now that I believe in butt blocks, what the heck? So right about here, which is very accessible in the forecastle. Well, nothing's very accessible. I'll put another butt block, which means I only need about a 12, 14 foot long plank, which is available because you can get sapelli up to, actually you can get sapelli usually 16, 18 even, and 9 inches wide, no problem. I could have it dressed, in other words, planed and ready to go Monday afternoon. So I'm feeling good. It's just more. But the end result would be better. That's always the case, right? More. Okay. Well, hello and welcome to the Travels with Geordie Beer of the Week, live from beautiful Sydney, British Columbia. Anyway, let's get straight to the beer because I really could use a beer. This is the Tofino Brewing Company's Tough Session Ale. I have no idea what that means exactly. I have lost both my, or at least I can't put my hands on either of my beautiful gifted bottle openers, but this is a gifted pipe wrench, so that works out just perfectly. Okay, let's see what this looks and tastes like. Oh, darkish, which I like that. I like that. Well, many of you have been saying, Peter, replace the garbage plank all along. And well, yes, it's definitely the thing I should have done right from the start. But I didn't, and now I'm going to. Cheers. Tough Session Ale from Tofino. It'll do. It's sort of like a cask beer, quite strong. I just want cold, and which it is. Well, the garbage team thing. I know I waffled back and forth with many different ideas and hopes and whatever for that thing. I think that's an evil piece of wood. When we were working on MV Zephyrus, Lady Zephyrus called it the garbage seam because hers is troublesome too. And now I might be wondering if it's troublesome in the same way. It's the only plank on the boat that is really garbage. And I wonder if it's some, as I mentioned earlier, some kind of delignification or some kind of deterioration, something, because it is shrinking hard. And I mean, it's going to be tight, it's going to disappear. I won't even have to remove it, it'll be gone. Anyway, interesting. So, yes, I will replace the garbage seam in the next couple of days. Well, it's the weekend, it's going to be Monday before I can even talk about getting some wood. Of course, I'd love to find some yellow cedar. It's very unlikely. In fact, it's effectively impossible. I'm going to find it quickly anyway. It's been suggested that I can use sapelli mahogany, which I know where to get, and it will be just fine. And I'm going to do some more research on the weekend. And if you have any opinions on that, certainly feel free to put them in the comments down below, because I will be reading them before I buy the wood. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get on with the beer of the week stuff, because that's the fun part, right? Last week's winner of a Travels with Geordie t-shirt is Leo P. Leo P. Get in touch with me and I'll make sure you get your shirt. So wonderful, a new patron came on last week. It's Rowan and Bayer's mummy. Well, thank you very much, Rowan and Bayer, because your mummy joined on as a patron, and I'm very grateful for that. Another schwack of supporters on PayPal. Thank you all so much. John McMonigal with yet another day on the hard. Thank you very so much. Thomas Dietrich, Joseph McDonald, Neil Scully, Peter Martin, and Ross Gibson. Thank you all so very, very much. Your support is extra special right now, I can tell you. Cheers. And some other people that just came by and helped out with some stuff. A gentleman known by the moniker Union Thug came over on his motorcycle from Vancouver with some bronze lag screws to replace the galvanized ones I put in the Seacocks. So that was very welcome and it was fun to have a chat with him. And a bunch of other people, including Matt, Dean, and Dick, and others for cutting plugs and general support. I've been very, very grateful for all of that. So thanks to you all. Cheers. Well, the word of the week. What do you suppose? It's gonna have to be garbard. Yes, it is. Garbard. I'm sure you can find a way to use it. You know what to do. See you, well, Tomorrow. Cheers.